The hood, those hips, the roofline. It could only be the Mustang GT. In the year that we say goodbye to the Charger, Challenger and Camaro, we say hello to the new 7th generation Mustang. That's a ballsy move, especially from a company which took that Mustang name, steeped in racing history and pedigree, and made it into an EV brand. This one is definitely not an EV. I got a 5-litre Coyote Mustang engine out front. I got a 6-speed transmission here beside me. I am living the American dream. The Mustang embodies the spirit of automotive Americana, which only adds to the complexity of the job for the engineers as they are asked to keep pace with the Mustang's rapidly evolving peers. So how have they fared? Is the new 7th generation Mustang a giant step forwards, or is it more of the same? And if that's the case, is that a bad thing? So, what's new? This is a muscle car, so let's talk power. The GT's Coyote V8 has new airboxes and a larger plenum intake, as well as some new camshaft stuff, which all adds up to 480 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, 20 horsepower more and 5 torques fewer than the previous GT. But if you opt for the optional $1,200 active exhaust system, power is boosted to 486 horsepower and 418 pound-feet of torque. And of course there is a 500 horsepower version of this engine in the Dark Horse. Go and watch Kristen's film on the Dark Horse on MotorTrend.com right now. This Coyote motor has to go down. It's one of the most charismatic power plants on sale today. Really can take a beating, as I must say, in my opinion at least, can this 6-speed manual Getrag box. It loves you bang shifting it. The rev matching's pretty good, but I will say the gears are very long, and there are moments where you're sort of left wondering, where's the torque? When's it going to come through? Is it the quickest? Absolutely not. But my God, it's a lot of fun. Woo! Woo! Oh, brother. So it definitely drives like a Mustang. And as it turns out, it looks a lot like one too. The designers say they took direct inspiration from the 1st generation Mustang when it came time to design this one. Well, obviously, they always say that. But you know what, it's fine, we're going to forgive them, because the 1st generation Mustang is one of the greatest pieces of automotive design ever. And on the surface at least, I think this one stacks up pretty well. Up front, the hood brow has become even heavier than on the last generation and has sagged down even more. I actually didn't love the way the front end of the S650 looked, but it's grown on me, especially in this spec with the blacked out Mustang logo. It looks mean. Moving on to the interior, well, it's a Ford, which means it has the comfiest seats of all time, though these ones also have side support, which is great. The surfaces are pretty nice, as is the giant curved screen, which you don't get on the Ecoline Mustangs. Though I will say there's a little too much reliance on the screen for me. It would have been nice to have kept a little more functionality with some buttons. And that is sort of it. Looks like a Mustang. In fact, you may be thinking it doesn't look a lot different than the last generation Mustang. And you'd be right. That's because the bulk of the alterations from S550 to S650 occurred at the steering and chassis levels. In fact, with the likes of the Dark Horse and especially the freshly announced GTD, you could be forgiven for thinking that Ford are pitching the S650 Mustang as more of a sports car. So how does it hold up? Not super well, unfortunately. And this is where we come on to what is really my only big problem with this Mustang. It's the steering. I mean, look, it doesn't matter what mode you're in, sport, track, comfort, the steering is numb, lifeless to the point of bemusement. how do I know when I'm going to break traction? How do I know when I've given the car enough input to get me around the corner? I don't. I can literally hear the tyres losing grip before I feel the steering wheel telling me that that's the case. It's kind of a joke. The only saving grace I will say is that this car is fitted with extra sticky Pirelli P0s. Oh. This car, of course, has the Magna Ride suspension, which is an optional extra and one that is, I would say, essential to the full enjoyment of this vehicle. It also has the performance package, which means a better limited slip differential, additional chassis bracing, as well as 6-pop front, 4-pop rear Brembo calipers, which are, I gotta say, absolutely incredible. The brakes on this car are nothing short of spectacular. When we tested this car, we got a 4.3 seconds 0 to 60 and a quarter mile in 12.5 seconds at 114.7 miles per hour. Obviously, the 6-speed slows those figures down a bit over the 10-speed auto, but I guarantee you the test driver had a lot of fun doing it. Efficiency, it's not great. But then again, what can you expect? Right now, I'm averaging 13.6 miles to the gallon. But my God, I'm having fun. Turning gas into power, sound, smoke, and smiles. Oh. Hats off to you, Ford. You've engineered a very, very good car here. All the talk was whether, in the face of no competition from fellow pony cars, Ford would pivot and try to make the Mustang something it's not. And I'm very happy to say that they haven't. What they've done is far better. They've kept the Mustang's muscle car credentials at the heart of every decision they've made and added sports car elements to help reinforce this as a true driver's car. This is a car you're meant to have fun in. This is where the Mustang is really at home. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, it's incredible. It must have been quite hard for the Ford engineers to see the mid-engine Corvette come out to such acclaim, and for the Corvette brand to undergo the shift from muscle car to sports car, almost supercar. But let's not forget, this isn't a sports car. It's a muscle car. In fact, as of this year, it's the only muscle car on sale. I think we just need to enjoy the Mustang for what it is. No sense in trying to make it something it's not, when it does what it is so very well. Yes, it's sort of the same as the previous generation, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It's big, it's loud, the engine, so charismatic. It's a car for having fun in, and in a world where most cars are boring, sterile lumps of metal and software bullshit, I think we need a few more cars like the Mustang. There is that very, very famous saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the Mustang, as a muscle car, has never been better. Woo! Look at that! Yeah. Woo! What a ridiculous machine!